us to gather here, and also the organizers who have brought us all together nationwide. I always say that we as women, we're like a mama bear, and we will not let anyone or anybody step into our lives and make a mess of it. That's right. And so that's what we're doing here today. We're taking a stand. We're giving our voice, our thoughts, and our feelings about our life, about our own futures. And so I'm going to go ahead and take a moment here and do a little prayer with the permission of each and every one of you, and especially permission of the good Creator. Bakiva, call upon you here again and give thanks to you for all your divine creations. This good day that you brought our way, give thanks to you for the water, the air, the fire, the earth, all these things that give us our life. We're joined here today, and I'm grateful to you that you brought all of these good people together throughout the land, throughout this nation. Women, men, relatives are coming together to acknowledge ourselves, acknowledge our role, acknowledge our rights, acknowledge our freedom of choice as women to make decisions about our bodies, our health, physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. So here again, I call upon you and ask that you could look down upon us here. I call on you, Mother Earth, Father Sky, Grandmother, Grandfather, Universe, spirits of the four directions, call upon you. And all the unseen powers that make this life here on this Mother Earth for us, to walk this road, to give thanks to you and acknowledge you, calling on you to look down upon us, calling on you to all the way to the universe. We're here because there are these man-made laws that are interfering with our existence as women, interfering with our freedom of choice. You've blessed us with this mind, this heart, this spirit, this body, for us to know what is good for it, to know how our bodies function and how we live. We know these things. You gave it to us. So we're calling on you to intervene through your divine power, through the natural laws, not man-made laws. You touch us here. You help us. You make a way. You open the doors for us. You touch the minds, the hearts, and the spirits of the bodies of those people who are in this position that they call their power and their control over our lives. You touch them so that because they come from a woman, they have a mother, they have daughters, they have sisters, they have grandmas and aunties. Women in their lives, we as women are the ones that have this blessing to give life. So you touch their minds. They might be able to recognize and hear our voices, hear what we're saying about the things that we're concerned about. So you might look down upon us and bless us here that way. Likewise, too, here again, we have future generations that are yet to come, the ones we will not see. So I ask that you could look down upon them, too. And then, too, here again, all of your divine creations, the animal life, the plant life, the four-legged, the winged, the water life, all of these other creations that are a part of our everyday life. giving thanks to you for them too. And then too, here again, I'm grateful to you that we could all come together and be of one mind, one heart, one body, one spirit to send our voices throughout this land, throughout this world here again. So if there's anything I left out, I ask that you could take care of it for me just like you always do. For all my relations, Escalí. We santo te, 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 we santo te. Pakauni vam, pakauni vam, pakauni va, pakauni vam, pakauni va, pakauni vam, pakauni va, pakauni vam. We santo te, we santo te. We santo te, 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 we santo te. Pakauni va, pakauni vam, pakauni va, pakauni vam, pakauni va, pakauni vam, pakauni va, pakauni vam. We santo te, we santo te. We santo te, 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 we santo te. Escalí. Thank you. Blessings.
I'm hearing that it's very hard to hear in the back, so we are going to adjust this speaker. Just give us a couple of seconds for that. Is this a little better? Is this? Raise your hands if you can hear me. Okay, all right, that looks better. Yep. Got it? Okay. Thank you, Mona Palaka, for that beautiful blessing here today. Can we thank her again, please? That was beautiful. Good morning, Tucson. Thank you all for being here today. This presence really sends the message that Tucson wants reproductive justice for all. My name is Amy Fitch-Heacock. I am the Communications Director and co-founder of Tucson Women's March. We are the nation's first recognized Women's March Circle in Tucson. A little more than 7 months ago, 6 women agreed to host an emergency response when Texas's unjust abortion ban, SB 8, went into effect. We responded in Tucson because unjust laws anywhere require us to unify everywhere. We had about 3 weeks to plan that event. We were expecting 150 people. We thought we would be lucky if we got 500. And on that day when we marched last October, 3,000 of you showed up to march with us. Since that time, Tucson Women's March has continued to organize and extend our reach across Arizona. We have made it our mission to help Tucsonans harness their political power to create transformative change in our community. We do this by educating our community about how policies enacted at every level of government impact our daily lives. We participate in our state's Request to Speak program, advocating within the state legislature and teaching others how to do the same. Most recently, we have gathered to analyze our city budget to determine where it aligns with the goals for progress for every Tucsonan and where it falls short of that purpose. We unite to hold our elected officials accountable to the platforms they campaign on and the promises they have made to our community. We remind people that the one thing that is deeply rooted in our nation's history and traditions is the power of the people. And of course, we mobilize. We wish we could be mobilizing towards progress today as opposed to fighting back against more regression. But whatever the call is, we will answer. Our small steering committee of 5 people has worked tirelessly over the last 9 days to create this space today. We have been running on caffeine and fury. I hope you brought your fury today because I want our chants to echo through the windows of the homes of every legislator who thinks that we will go down quietly. I want our voices to shake the foundation of the very benches upon which those Supreme Court justices sit. We have a powerful group of speakers for you this morning, and before I welcome our first speaker to the stage, I just want to go over a little bit of housekeeping to make sure we're able to participate safely and comfortably today. We do have water stations set up courtesy of Arizona Jobs with Justice and congressional candidate Daniel Hernandez. There is a water station behind us where the blue canopy is, and then on the corner here, Arizona Jobs with Justice is set up for water. Secondly, Tucson Parks and Rec has graciously opened the restrooms for us today. Those are on the north side of the building. We also recognize that we are still in the midst of a global pandemic, so please be willing to give extra space to the people around you. In the event that counter-protesters arrive at any time, please do not engage them. We have teams of trained de-escalators throughout the park, and they will step in for us if it's necessary. Also remember that due to time and safety constraints, we are not marching today. We are going to have a rally, we are going to let our speakers be heard, and we are going to join and learn about next steps. Once the rally has concluded, we welcome you to hold your signs along the sidewalks. Please do not block driveways, traffic, or the streetcar. We want to be very mindful of people who are working in our community today and need to have those streets. And lastly, please leave Armory Park better than we found it. Don't leave trash behind. Thank you again for being here. Now please join me in welcoming our first speaker, Dr. Katie Harrell. Dr. Harrell is a family physician, the director of Planned Parenthood Advocates of Arizona, and the Arizona State Lead for the Committee to Protect Healthcare. Dr. Harrell. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Great. Woo, this microphone is not liking this. Okay. Maybe I'll stand.
Yeah, it's your energy. Yeah, go girl! Woo! Go AC! Heidi.
All right, is that better?
Yeah!
Great. Good morning. Buenos dias, Tucson. And I just want to clarify one thing. I'm one of many directors with PPAA. We have a very dynamic and diverse board, and I'm honored and privileged to share the space with them, just like I'm honored and privileged to be here with you this morning. My name is Katie Harrell, pronouns she, her, doctora. Thank you to the organizers for having me here today to speak with everybody. Not only am I a healer, I'm an educator, I'm an advocate, daughter, partner, sister, a friend, but I am also an adopted individual who is unapologetically pro-abortion. Not only am I pro-abortion, I am pro-reproductive justice. We all should be pro-reproductive justice. We should all be centering the work that needs to be done to dismantle the white and evangelical supremacy that is foundational to the anti-choice movement, that every person of reproductive potential has equitable decision-making around if and when they become a parent and raise their family in safe, healthy, and economically stable environments and communities. We're facing a pivotal moment in our country's history, where the Senate recently made it abundantly clear that our bodily rights can be bought and paid for with dark money. And they want to overturn Roe, which has been law of the land for the last 50 years. It's a very serious threat. And like you, I am extremely worried and angry as hell. And we should all be angry as hell right now. That the minority, let's make it clear, it is a minority of extremists, politicians, who are only voting to serve their own religious interests and pocketbooks, not the betterment of our social fabric and communities. And like many of you, I was appalled by the verbiage of domestic infant supply. This was used by our Supreme Court to peddle the false dichotomy between abortion and adoption, as if they're two sides to the same coin.
You gotta get on the mic.
Okay.
Really close.
All right. So we know that this isn't true, but unlike some of you, I actually wasn't surprised by this verbiage. Because you see, as an adoptee, I've been acutely aware of the current domestic supply of infants in our country that's rarely talked about. It's a billion-dollar industry that's rooted in white supremacy, indentured servitude, colonialism, and classism that perpetuates the narrative of who's deserving to have a baby and who is not. This is the same industry that has resulted in trafficking of millions of children over the years, indigenous children, into white families prior to the Indian Child Welfare Act, which, by the way, is now also under threat, as well as tribal sovereignty, and to be heard under our current SCOTUS, which we should all be just infuriated about as well. As an adoptee, my very experience is rooted in the trauma that comes from the current domestic supply of infants in our country. The trauma of my own mother's forced birth and separation from her newborn as a teenager who wasn't given the choice. Like many adoptees, there's trauma in learning that you were not wanted, or maybe you were, but your birth parents were either too much of something or not enough of something else to be allowed to keep you. There's trauma in learning that perhaps your adopted parents lied to you, knowingly or unknowingly, about where you came from, who your birth parents actually are, and the origins of your own identity. The trauma of being gaslit by a society that views anything but genetic kinship as less than, and reinforces this fantasy that your adoption was probably just for the best, and that you should probably just shut up and be grateful, because after all, you could have been aborted. And as an adoptee, I'm tired. I am so tired of the forced birth movement using me and others like me as their poster child for perpetuating and pushing human rights violations willfully. Using adoption in a disingenuous light which completely dismisses the deep-seated trauma inherent to the majority of adoptions, and as a solution for unwanted pregnancies. And we need to uncouple this. We need to push back and say enough is enough. No person, not anyone of reproductive potential, should be forced to carry a pregnancy and deliver a baby that they do not want or are not ready to raise, period. This ability to control one's destiny through bodily autonomy is central to the foundation of reproductive justice, as is the investment in communities that have been disproportionately impacted by these human rights violations since the inception of our country. No person, regardless of race, gender expression, country of origin, or other identifying features, should be deprived of the liberty to have a child or not in a society without police brutality and food insecurity, or in one that has affordable housing and childcare, well-funded public education, healthcare for all, voter rights, paid family leave, and an abundance of safe drinking water, climate justice, and economic stability and opportunities. This idea of reproductive justice seems radical to some, but is it really? Is it really that radical? Hell no, thank you, hell no. Because these are the values that should serve as the foundation of our society and our communities in the first place. This is what we should be built on. We aren't just pro-abortion. We aren't just asking for safe and legal abortion. We are asking for all of this. We want and need and deserve all of this, and we need it now. Because there is no justice. There is no justice without reproductive justice. And our voices will not be stifled. They will not be stifled no matter the outcome of Roe. We will not go back, and our collective voice will not be silenced. We will keep showing up. We will demand equity and transparency, and we will hold our electeds accountable, both inside and outside of the ballot box. We will not give up, and we will fight to see the country that we envision and know is possible. We will do this every day until we see the change that we know is possible and can be true. So Tucson, are you with me? Good. I'm with you. We are all together. And now I would really love it if you could all give a warm, warm welcome to our next speaker, one of our own elected officials who is also with us in this fight. She has had unwavering support of reproductive justice and been a champion, having received endorsements by Planned Parenthood Advocates of Arizona and NARAL Pro-Choice of Arizona, among many others. This is someone who has stood with healthcare workers and community members alike to protect the health of working families. She has been a vocal critic of Arizona's abortion ban and other human rights violations, calling them, rightfully so, the last gasp of a dying America. Raised by immigrant farm workers in Somerton, Arizona, she has a history of breaking barriers, being the very first in her family to vote, graduating from college, and then going on to become the first Latina mayor of Tucson with her election in 2019. Please give a warm, warm welcome to our friend and our very own mayor, Tucson Mayor Romero.
Thank you, Dr. Buenos Dias. Buenos dias. Buenos dias, Tucson. Good morning. Are we all fed up of this? Are we all fed up of the state trying to invade our reproductive choices? I am too. I am too. And right now, today, as we gather here to protest a leak of a decision on Roe v. Wade from our Supreme Court, I am devastated and I am pissed off. And I am not surprised. I am not surprised because the patriarchy has been trying to it is. It has been in our business, in our rights for centuries. And it's done. It is done. We have to come together in an intersectional way to make sure we are more. There are more of us that want workers' rights, that want women's rights, that want LGBTQ plus rights. There are more of us. Today is a call to action. I'm here, as pissed off as you are, to call you to action. No more. We have to organize our way out of this. And we can. We can. There is power in unity. There is power in our work together. You all know why we're here. That's why you're here. I cannot tell you what you already know. They are coming not just for this. And it's not coming from a good place. It is to oppress and control. It is to oppress and control. That's why they're coming after voting rights. That's why they're coming after workers' rights. That's why they're coming after reproductive choice. We've got to be upset. We've got to be pissed off. We've got to fight today. We've got to protest. We've got to march. But we've also got to organize. We have to organize. Buy yourself some really good tennis shoes because all this summer and into the winter, we are going to canvass and we are going to get out voters so that we can change those people that are trying to oppress us. We're done. Here in Arizona, we're at the epicenter of what it's going to mean to be oppressed. We have always been the guinea pig. First, they come after immigrants and refugees and asylum seekers. Then they come after voting rights. Now they're coming after our choices as people. To control our own body. We have got to hold hands and make sure that this summer and this fall, we are knocking on doors and telling people why they need to vote. And why they need to vote for people that will fight for them, that are passionate about them, that actually will vote with them for their voting rights, for their worker rights, for public education. We've got to fight, and we've got to march, and we've got to canvass, and we've got to take people to the polls, and we've got to knock on doors to make sure that this patriarchy crumbles. It is my responsibility as your mayor to fight with you, to protect our families, to protect our trans babies, to protect our children, to protect our houseless folks, our vulnerable folks, our seniors. And I will be right there with you. I'm not going to stand and see our democracy crumble in this country. We have done far too much. We've worked too hard. So today, besides protesting, today I call you to action. Imagine all of you, besides, you all look beautiful from up here. Beautiful from up here. Imagine the power we have if each and every one of us picks up the phone and calls our family and calls our neighbors and calls our friends and knocks on doors. Hundreds of thousands of people could be changed into action because many of us out there already agree with us. But for one reason or another have given up on our democracy. Let's not give up on our democracy, and let's bring others with us. One knock at a time, one call at a time, one vote at a time. Sí se puede. 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 Woo! I'm gonna end with the unity clap because that's what we need, unity. Intersectionality moving forward. So the unity clap was taught to me by Dolores Huerta and the United Farm Workers. And what it means is that our hearts could actually beat together if we focus and ask them to do it. And so the clap starts really slow to the beat of the heart and then moves up in excitement and unity. So we're gonna do this together, okay? We're gonna start very slow. Let's do this, Tucson!
Oh my goodness, how fortunate are we that Regina Romero is our mayor? Please. Our next speaker is Faith Ramon. She is with Lucha and she is also a very active member of our Native American community. She's here to speak about how her community is impacted. Please welcome her.
Can I get some help? I want to make sure everyone hears me. Mic check. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Hell yeah. Good morning, Skagsadim. Buenos dias. Yate Bennett. First and foremost, I want to thank Tucson for showing up for my mothers, for my aunties, for my sisters, for my daughters, for my LGBTQ community, my Two-Spirit. Thank you so much for showing up for me, my body, and for my choice. My name is Faith Ramon, and I identify as an indigenous. I am Tana Atam. I come from the community of Kyoto. Where's my native community? Woo! Not only am I a community member of the Tana Atam Nation, I am rooted in community organizing with Lucha and ACE. I know a lot of you are not familiar with Lucha or ACE. What we do is we are a grassroots-led membership, social, racial, and economic justice that advocates for education. We mobilize our community to take political action, and we have thousands of members just like you beautiful people across the state who are directly impacted by systems of oppression that show up in your homes, they show up in your community, and I hate to say it, I'm gonna take a deep breath before I say it, but everything in this world centers around politics. Everything that we are doing, all the decision making, it's someone else who is depending on how much you're gonna spend for your food, for your gas, for your rent, for your community, even for your time. And now we've come to a choice where someone is making a decision about our own body. So, whoa, that happens when you have too much coffee and not water today. So the Arizona State Legislature, Arizona, and our Lucha and our sister organization, ACE, we've come together because we know that Republican lawmakers have used their positions in power and their resources. Thank you. Oh, Ana Karina! Oh, yes! This is my sister! Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ana Karina. You're amazing.
You don't have to yell into the mic. It'll work.
Okay. I just want to make sure that everyone hears me. Okay, so let me go back to who is directly impacted by our systems of oppression that show up in our home and they show up in our community. Everything we do is all centered around someone who is making decisions for us. This year, the Arizona State Legislature and our governor they have more than $3 million in disposal of federal and state revenue. Instead of prioritizing the needs of Arizonans, Republican lawmakers have used their position in power and resources as elected to attack our wages, to attack our reproductive rights, to attack our transgender children, our voting rights, and so much more. The voice of big corporations, racial social interests, and wealthy, especially the elite, has spoken over the people for far too long. We are fighting this year for a people's budget that works for our economy right now. And when Lucha gets a call, we answer it. Because our community, when they see us knocking at the door, they trust us. They answer to the call to Lucha and for ACE. 5 of our priorities is, of course, investing in our education, investing in rent control, investing in our 2 communities that have been neglected, our undocumented and our homeless community. We are going to make sure that this year we have a legislator that is going to look like us, who is going to talk like us, who has the same systems of oppression as we did their whole life. That is what we are pushing for this year at the ballot. And this moment, more than ever, we need a representation that centers women, that centers our body and our choice. If you, like Regina Romero said, you look amazing. This is amazing to see everyone out here. If you are ready, register to vote. We have a table in the back. If you are ready, we have petitions that are going around. We need your support. We need your support as community to come together, united, because at this moment, our community is under attack. And when our future leaders are under attack, what do? When our LGBTQ community is under attack, what do? When our homeless community is under attack, what do? When our indigenous land is under attack by mining and our water is under attack, what do? When our reproductive right is under attack, what do? When our reproductive right is under attack, what do? We stand up and we fight the fuck back. We don't stand down. We don't let them override us. Thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, Faith. I have a surprise for everybody. We have Congressman Raul Grijalva in the house. And he has just left the U of A and has asked to be here and speak with us today. So please welcome Congressman Grijalva.
Sorry I couldn't get here earlier at a graduation that I had been invited to 2 years ago, and they canceled that one, so I was there and it was good, and I am glad that I made it to be here with you and to just briefly thank you. You know, as frustrating, as ignorant, as divisive, and as ugly as these battles that we're fighting are, they're necessary, and when you show up, we need to thank you because we cannot turn this country back into reality without you, period. You have a politicized and weaponized United States Supreme Court. And the reality of that couldn't be clearer. And to get passed by the Senate, you're disingenuous and you lie about what your position is going to be regarding Roe versus Wade and the constitutional precedent associated with it. But you're there. You're there, and in your hands, some very fundamental issues for this country. Fundamental issue of equity and human rights and equality. Fundamental issue before you. Driven by the very, very important and necessary and God higher power given right and legal right of women in this country to have control over themselves, period. That has taken center stage, waiting in the wings, challenging who you love. Waiting in the wing, challenging who you are. Waiting in the wings, our fundamental right to privacy and the protection of that privacy. And we can't forget, you know, there's a whole movement since that it was going on before January 6th to introduce into the fabric of this nation, into its democracy, an authoritarian streak fueled by racism, by the ignorance, and a sense of arrogance that I'm right and you're not. And that arrogance can be construed as religious arrogance. It can be construed as ideological arrogance. But the fact of the matter, it goes against the fundamental tradition of this nation. And I say that not to whitewash history or to say that the history of this nation is in repeat with colonization, slavery, and all the things that we've done in this nation. But in a democracy, we have a self-corrective mechanism. And that mechanism is our democracy. And I want to say today that it is important. It has been so frustrating for the House of Representatives to send fundamental, important, robust initiatives and law and legislation to the United States Senate and watch it go into an abyss and die there. Now, if voting rights was not the crucible for the filibuster bust, if a woman's rights and co-equal status in this society of ours is not enough, if the packing of our federal court system by ideologues is not enough, then I ask the senator, what is? What is enough? It's time to take that legislation that protects a woman's rights. It's time that legislation that confronts the inequality and disparity in this country. It's time to take that legislation that protects our democracy by insisting that all of us have the right to vote. It's time to take that legislation that invests in the next generation of leaders and people in this country. It's time to take that legislation, Senator, and act on it. For me, this is a very fundamental issue and a crucible issue. What the court does with Roe versus Wade is going to have a chilling effect on this nation. And I would hope, and I beg, that it is also a motivational win through this nation. That we need to, it's not just about electing the right people, it's about getting the right things done. And it's not just about posturing and being window dressing on these issues, it's about getting something done. And it's not merely about being at a rally and telling you what you want to hear. Show me. Show me. So we're at this point in our nation's history. We can't erase the past, we can't rewrite the past, and we can't whitewash the past. But we're in this moment in our nation's history where we can dictate the future. And learn from mistakes and recognize that in this country of ours and in this world of ours, that equality knows no color, knows no age, knows no love for one another, and knows no gender. Thank you very much.
What a gift that was. Thank you, Congressman Grijalva. Thank you so much. So you may have noticed the morning is not starting off exactly as we planned. We had a couple of little bumps, and we have a youth speaker who is here today from Tucson High School. And today there are graduation events going on, and so we are going to have her come up, and to introduce her is Nancy Gutierrez. Please welcome them.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you all for being here. We're here. I'm Nancy Gutierrez. I teach at Tucson High, and I'm also running for the State House in LD18. And I'm running because as a teacher, my students, and as a mom, my daughters should not have fewer rights than I have had my entire life. I will not stop, and I know you will not stop until these rights are for us forever, without a doubt, for all of us, right? Abortion is health care, and we need to say those words. We need to say the word abortion, and we don't need a reason why. The only reason we need is that we want one. That's it. And we cannot stop here. This is beautiful. This is energy. But we have to keep going. We have to run for office. We have to vote. We have to be out there because we outnumber them. Thank you. So it is my great honor to introduce this student, this Tucson High student. Her name is Mina. She is at the very, very top of her class. She's worked for Arizona List, for Mission for Arizona. She created a bill about student mental health care. She's amazing. She's deciding between several Ivy League schools right now, and I'm very proud to know her. Mina, come on up.
I'm not a public speaker by nature, but I heard that this was happening, and I heard that a lot of young people were coming out, and I see a lot of young people, and this is amazing. So I knew that I had to speak, and I have things to say, and I know that you've heard this already, but I am angry. I'm so angry. You know, I'm angry because there is a court of 9 people who can make decisions about our lives and who don't have to look us in the face and tell us that and see how they're impacting other people's lives when they do it. And I'm angry because we're expected to just sit here and take it. But most of all, I'm angry because when they made the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, I can't speak for all young people here, but they told us that any young person with a uterus who got pregnant and had to have a baby, that their futures don't matter. And that means that we don't matter to them. The people leading our country, making rules, we don't matter to them. And that makes me so angry. You matter to us! You know, all my life as a young woman, I have been subtly told by rules and social norms and laws that I am not as important as other people in our society. But this overturning goes beyond subtle implications. This is actively telling us that we don't matter, and that is bull. So I wanted to tell all of you here today, you know, young and old, Senator Grijalva was right that it doesn't matter your age or who you love or your gender or anything that makes you just a living person. I wanted to thank you all for being here today because it means that you care. And that's more than I can say for the people leading our country. So thank you. Thank you so much. Because we outnumber them. I see it here today, and that makes me so happy, so thank you. And to all the other people who speak, I wanted to say, I don't know if this means a lot coming from just a high schooler, but I'm very proud and I'm very grateful, and I wanted to say thank you in front of everybody. So, thank you. And that's it. It's a great day.
Boy, I tell you, the best part of this is watching that youth enthusiasm because she's absolutely right. We outnumber them. Our next speaker is a very important member of our community for a number of reasons, and her voice, I think, is especially imperative today. It is Reverend Stephanie Stahl Hamilton, State Senator for LD10.
Thank you, Tucson! Way to show up and weather the heat. I am the state senator for the old Legislative District 10. I am finishing my first term in the Arizona legislature. I was elected to the House, and now I'm serving in the Senate. And I have to tell you something. As an ordained minister, I have a bone to pick with the government. Over the last 2 years, I have seen ideology cloaked in religious language being forced into our government policies, our laws, and I am fed up. It's been used to attack the LGBTQ plus community. It has been used to attack our children. It has been used to attack our public school system. It has been used to attack our bodies. And to be quite honestly, I am there on the front lines speaking up and speaking out because there are people who are people of faith. There are people who have no faith. And our spaces are being invaded.
Yeah.
And all of this, no matter where it's coming from, it is extreme ideology that is meant to create chaos, and in that chaos, it's meant to control. It is meant to keep in place systems of white supremacy. Make no mistake, there is nothing religious about any of this. It is cruel, and I can tell you this, when it comes to abortion, and I've said it before, nothing good can come from government-mandated pregnancies. I've got a bone to pick with the government. And that is why I have a seat at that table, and I want to continue to have a seat at that table. And we've got to get a few more seats. I stand with our mayor in that we've got to invite others to come along with us. And we can help them know what to say, but we've got to do it person by person, door by door, message by message. We've heard it. There are more of us than them, and that is where our power lies. So dig deep, find that power, and let's get the government out of our personal lives. Thank you, Tucson.
I'm trading pictures with my best friend in Boston at their rally, so I have to get a selfie. Thank you. I want to thank the organizers of the Women's March and all of the volunteers. And I want to give a special shout out to all of my volunteers here with Arizonans for Fair Elections and the folks with Healthcare Rising, Stop Dark Money, Pima County Justice for All, and Voter Choice Arizona, all working to help our community. I'm Betsy Bozier with Arizonans for Fair Elections, and we're the group that's working to protect voting rights for all Arizonans through a nonpartisan ballot initiative. Because like it or not, right now, voting is the most important thing we can do. It is not the only thing we can do, but it is the most important thing we can do. So I want to share some good news with you. Since the big leak, according to vote.org, voter registration spiked 200% in the last week. .65% of those who registered were women. And over half of the new registrants were under the age of 35. But now I got to share the bad news with you. Over 100 separate bills were filed in the Arizona legislature this session, 39% of which would have restricted voter access. Leads the nation in filing the highest number of election sabotage bills that enable partisan interference in elections. Remember this, if they weren't afraid of us voting in numbers, they would not be trying to make it so hard. Arizonans for Fair Elections is our response to the failure of our federal government to pass voting right legislation. And if we are able to pass it through a citizen ballot initiative at the state level, it will be historic. This is a comprehensive petition. It encompasses everything from making permanent the early voting list, allowing for mail-in ballots. It would allow access to the ballot for differently abled people or people who need help voting. And my personal favorite, it would ensure that the Arizona state legislature cannot overturn the results of a federal election. We have a table you can sign. We have canvassers sign. Yes, thank you, yes. Before the big leak, I was so afraid for our democracy that I quit my job in Boston. I stored all my stuff, I packed what I could fit in my car, and I drove out here to be here with you. But I left behind my powerful, beautiful, smart 24-year-old daughter in Boston. And when the news came last Monday, the first thing I did was call her, and I had a conversation many of you might have also had, and I told her two things. I said, don't ever leave Massachusetts because they codified Roe v. Wade. And I said, whatever birth control you're on, go update it now. I'm here standing up for my daughter, for her friends, for her generation and the generations coming up behind us. We must be courageous. We are in this together. And I want you to stop and think about who you're standing up for. Yourselves, your family, your friends. I want you to look around you, look to the left and the right, and look somebody in the eyes. Because you're here standing up for them, and they are here standing up for you. We cannot be afraid. We cannot be discouraged. We cannot be disenfranchised. We need each other now more than ever. And Arizona for Fair Elections will need 250,000 signatures by June 30th in order to get on the ballot in November, but we can do it. Sign the petition here, check out a petition here, and get 15 of your friends to sign it, and we will get it on the ballot and protect our rights. Together, we are going to ride this wave of righteous anger to the polls in August for the primary, to the polls in November, all the way to 2024, and at every local election in between. It is our duty to our country. It is our commitment to each other. And my biggest fear, it may be our last chance at democracy. Thank you.
Hi, I need to find Ken Frisky. Are you here? Ken Frisky? If you could meet us on the side of the stage where the blue awning is, please. Your wife is looking for you and we need to get you to her. So we have a really special treat for you today. The Raging Grannies are here to perform a song. I'm going to give them a moment just to come up and get collected. You're ready? Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
We passed out the words to this song to some of you so you can sing along with us. All right. It's called Killing Them Softly. It's to the tune. It's to the tune of Killing Me Softly.
Can hear us already? We should get around this.
Everybody move up towards the microphone, please.
Yeah, we should. Let's come circle around.
Close in. And move it back.
Okay.
All human sperm are living. They have a head and tail. They even swim with purpose, although many fail. So if we base our laws on the moment life begins, we'll need to ban masturbation for every male in this nation. They are all committing murder, killing those sperm with their fingers, taking those lives with their hands, killing them softly. It's so wrong. And pubes and boys would end up serving time because they're not having wet dreams, they're committing crimes. These serial mass murders just would not be allowed. Working together in teams, we would stop all of those wet dreams. They are all committing murder, killing those sperm in their heads, taking those lives in their heads, killing them softly. It's so wrong.
There you go, man. Okay, so we're doing she needs one. Let's go ask. Yeah, I don't have to go squeeze this. One more? Oh, okay. Let's do the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Battle Hymn of the Republic. Yeah. Abortion rights? Yeah. Okay. Battle Hymn.
We're the raging grannies and it's turning our hair gray that our Supreme Court wants to take abortion rights away. We won this battle once and now we'll win again today. Not one step back, no way. As women we'll make our own choices. The right wing cannot steal our voices. A woman and her doctor have the final right to choose. Not one step back, no way. They want to take us back in time, take women's rights away. Ignore the 50 years since the court heard Roe versus Wade. But this is settled law and cannot just be swept away. Not one step back, no way. We cannot steal our voices. A woman and her doctor have the final right to choose. Not one step back, no way. We've got to stand together, all who champion this cause. Firm on the hard-won ground that undergirds our laws. Each woman's right to choose must be maintained at any cost. Not one step back, no way. As women we'll make our own choices. The right wing cannot steal our voices. A woman and her doctor have the final right to choose.